Well, hey again out there. How y'all doing? Listen, I really wanted to say, hey, I'm sorry I ain't been out here for a while, but also to explain that I've really been going through a major self awareness and awakening right now. Kind of being hardened by the flames that I've gone through and seeing some things as just the way they are, not the way that I think I want them to be, or really that there's anything I can do about it, but seeking the understanding and finding out for one why I get so unhappy, or why I get so sad about the way things are. And I look into these I look into the abyss. I look into the truth of man, and this brings more pain and more sadness to see how things are, but to see how they've gotten this way, how simple it is, but how complicated it's become. And all this is because we have somehow managed to go and evolve into it as a species. Because this has affected my personal life is why I want to speak about this too, by the way. But what's affecting us as a species in general, as thinking something bad's coming, thinking, knowing that some of these things we're doing is not right. Um, um, we know certain things are out of control. We see things in other people, but it always goes to blame or to morals or to man's law or God's law. When in fact, what we have broken and what we have forgotten about and lost is natural law. So before I even get started on that, the first part of natural law, because there are no rules, it's just the way it is. Grass is green, the sky is blue. We need water for life. Wow, that's natural law. Um, but in this, we're the only species out here that have a consciousness. We're the only species out here that can actually use our brain to take care of these things, to even wipe out other species. Because in the last 75 years, we have killed and murdered off over 45% of the life on this planet, just so we can have our life. And somehow in our consciousness, which is completely against natural law, we have found a way to think we are better because we think and we make these things happen. Well, while this has been going on and taking away that first rule or first just part of natural law, is that only the strongest survive. And part of that seems hard and cruel. I mean, many of us have walked through the woods or just seen in our backyard, and we'll find a little dead baby squirrel on the ground, and we'll look way up and we'll see this nest. And we'd like to think that, that little baby squirrel just fell out of that nest and died. Well, no, it wasn't good enough to be a squirrel. It wasn't healthy enough or natural enough. And the mother's instinct showed this squirrel in her mind, and she kicked it out of the nest. Just like you see an animal that's a mother animal that's feeding a lot of pups or kittens or little piglets or something, and push one away, and it'll still be alive, but it was never going to be what that species needs to be that species, to be the healthiest living best example of that species. It's all through the animal kingdom, but with man, because we can manipulate that, because we can change um, an unhealthy child into a living child. We do that. And that's because we're conscious. We don't see the harshness and the reality of natural law. And because that we are seemingly in our thought process being kind and we want to preserve life, we're actually making our life weaker and lesser. And now it's grown into this monster where we have literally ravaged the very life source, our planet. We have just literally murdered with an open mind and free will all other life. And we have literally taken our own existence and the strength and the power of our own species away from it, which has in turn the conscious part of man, not just us living coexisting with this earth, but our conscious part that is connected with the universe. It has been sickened and twisted. And now you sometimes don't even know what to think. So where you mistake kindness for strength or weakness, but it's really your strength. Your kindness is showing a strength and an understanding in people, and that you want better for them. I got to let you know that. I know deep down inside, a lot of these things we see today are not only not natural, but they're twisted into making us accept them, into making us think it's okay because, hey, we want the best for other people. We do care, but that's not natural. None of, we're not going to say none, but many of the things that we've accepted or support in other people, actually we're making them weaker. The the confusion or whatever is going on with the people that have wonder who they are. Am I a man or a woman? What am I? Well, naturally, you're born a man or a woman, and you're born a man to be the seed, and you're born a woman to be the life giver, to birth the child. Only together can you procreate the race. Anything outside of that is completely unnatural. I'm not saying that. We're not going to talk about morals, and I damn sure ain't being a judgmental brother right here. I'm trying to get some reality, y'all. So maybe some of you can find relief in knowing that you were okay in your thinking, that you wasn't being cruel, you wasn't being a bigot, you didn't hate on something, you weren't scared of it. You just knew that something wasn't right about it. Because we lost our natural ability. We've lost our natural being. We are not natural no more. But in saying that, a person may go through changes. And in other words, instead of saying, hey, this person is unnaturally unbalanced, something is wrong with his natural being, we support their decision. We overlook that it may be something, a trauma, a childhood trauma. It might be psychological or a mental problem. And yet we even, we'll accept them as they are. And that part I'm fine with. But the way that it's been twisted by mankind to actually show it as being awarded and to be recognized as somebody being courageous and somebody being brave. Well, it's neither courageous nor brave. It's a sad, unnatural state of being. And instead of loving that person enough to say, hey, where are you going? Let's talk. Let's look at things. Let's find out how this got there. Let's look at your diet. What's going on in you? What's happened to you in the past? No, we just accept it and say that's them. And then now, though, we award this. We cheer it on. We condemn those that say, hey, there's a man and a woman supposed to do this, and if you're not going to do it, then still you can't tell me that what you're doing is right and natural. No. But then I'm considered either homophobic or I just hate something or I don't understand or I'm not opening my mind. Well, no, I'll open my mind to the complete universe, and I'll still find nothing naturally true about that part of a lifestyle or a life choice, or even like I said, a mental illness or psychological trauma that should be dealt with. I do believe in live and let live. I do believe in coexisting. When a tree grows over a rock, so to speak, and the roots are all going over the rock, well, the tree don't blame or hate the rock for being in its way, and the rock don't hate the tree for growing on top of it. They just coexist into something different than they are, but they're still natural. But now they've kind of combined to form this really beautiful and sometimes almost like natural artwork of coexisting. And that's where we lost our way in that aspect. The other one, and I know this is going to be touchy, and y'all can say what you want, but I'm going to be honest with you before I say this. I'm not going to say I'm tired of being nice about things. I believe as humans and as having a conscience and we have made ways of communicating in certain ways. But me trying to just accept everything and understand it don't mean that it's not disturb my peace. Sometimes the truth has to be said, not all the time. And we have to find a manner of saying that. So that would also be, you can get somebody to understand and look at what's going on in their own life or their own thought process easier by being nice about it instead of sounding judgmental. But when people know that they're doing something wrong or when they're doing something unnatural, they may not understand that it's unnatural, and they may not understand that, but they'll get butthurt. They'll get defensive. They'll give all their reasons and even lean on man's law and say they have rights to do this and I have rights to do that. And yeah, and you do, but that's still not natural. And I want to keep this to natural. But the other thing that really set me off, and I think it affected many of you as well, was the decision made in New York about the full-term abortions and really thinking of a life form. And we all love babies and we all see things a certain way. And I don't want to talk about this at any other level except just this point. And when they went and accepted and made it by man's law and which man's law is really a way of saying you got to accept it now, and you don't. To make it full-term abortions legal, and then the propaganda behind it, and all the opinions behind it to make people feel better about it or to speak their mind about it. Well, natural law was like the man and the woman, and this beautiful, wonderful physical attraction that we have. And because we're humans, we have an intellectual and our own conscious attraction as well. We see things that we like about them being smart or funny, but then we have the what only our eyes thinks is good looking, or something that you want to be with, or this is my woman, or this is my man. I see this attractive. Like, for instance, I don't even see what my Karen Sue sees in me, but she does, and then she shows it and she feels it. And so that's why we have a natural attraction, as well as we're attracted to our intellectual self, our spiritual being. We're attracted to all these other things that put the natural part of our being together. We're not together to have kids. And sex no longer applies to us procreating, the natural thing. It's now we're able to use it at the human level, the conscious level, but still keep it natural and pure for what it is, and not make it weird and have to do things just to be aroused or whatever. But when we forgot that that's what the whole point of birthing children and sex is. Well, when it's been made a mistake, or when we don't want it, when boom, we invoked life. We took a seed and we put it with an egg. We did that because we were physically attracted to each other because of natural reasons, and we caused this baby. Well, the natural part of that, you invoked life. Now you have life. Well, there's another part of natural law, and that is we're not supposed to get in the way of life. I've never, and even though I understand why even abortions originally, or a good human thought process about it was the protection of the mother's health, or that the baby was not going to be whole, or a good baby, a good, strongest survive baby, that this would be a good idea, that man had figured out a way to manipulate natural law. And so not like an animal out in the woods that would have a pregnancy that was going to kill her. She wouldn't know. She couldn't abort. So she dies, with the baby. Well, I saw that part of it as being good. Really, when it comes down to it, the just not wanting to have it, you were all strong and ready to use your natural law instinct to have the sex, but you didn't use your conscious knowledge and what we know to prevent invoking life. So once you've invoked life, you've kind of broken into another realm of basically the universe. You started something, and now we just became unnaturally accepting of or understanding of just taking this life for any reason whatsoever. And whether, like I said, I'm not into the politics of this and the opinion of it. This is just the harsh truth of it. And so when most women that maybe do this, or even the man and he goes along with it, and they think, yeah, this ain't right for our life right now, and this baby might not be wanted, we might not be able to give the quality of life as mankind sees it, they become sad and depressed. They know inside that something ain't right. It's just like the people that have changed their bodies or go against natural law in any type of way, or any aspect of natural law. We feel like we're doing something wrong, and we get depressed about it. We get sad. Thus, the serious, monumental amount of depression and sadness that's going on right now, suicide. We wonder, we blame it on all these other things man-made, like bullying and pressure and not being accepted. Well, still inside of us, because we're natural beings, and some of us have even transcended into spiritual beings and found that in ourselves. We know that a lot of the things that we're doing is not right. But because we love our brother, because we love our sister, because we also know that mankind is a little bit different than all the life forms on this planet, we found ways of loving and understanding. And I love that. And that's what I have lived my life trying to do as a conscious adult being, and a brother to all of y'all, is to understand you, so I won't be judgmental, so I won't hate you, so I will know the truth about what's going on between us and who we are and why we're doing things, and really for the destruction of our own life source. Because here's what I'm getting at. We blame the 1% for what 99% of us do. You get that? All the plastic in the oceans, all the pollution on the earth, all the nuclear power plants melting down, all the oil being spilled on the ground. All of these things are because we demand it. And we only demand it because we were shown an unnatural life, and we accepted it through group thinking. We accepted it from a group of people that knew that they could manipulate this in our beings. They knew that as groups, we liked social activity. This was a part of us to get together. But the natural part, the natural law in us becoming, having this desire to be sociable is for procreation. You get it? Now, all of this that as a conscious people we twisted, but we forgot the natural basic law, the hard truth. And this is how we lost our way, y'all. This is why everything around us is our fault. So you could take away somebody's self-identity. You could take away why we should or should not end a life at all, period, through any means. And we can just look at the fact that we have been twisted so bad, that we have been manipulated by unnatural thought processes and life choices and lifestyles, the innovations of man. We went beyond the spear to kill the lion, because the lion could kill us if we were just butt naked. Well, we learned things to do. We have really taken this to a sick and twisted level where it's affected our very life source. Because here's my point in that. All the things that we do deep down, and it always gets further and further back, deep down we know that we have destroyed other life to have what mankind's innovations want. Wow. And we did it not because we, the 99% of the planet, it was not because we wanted it that way. It's because this is all we were shown, and we were trapped into a money-based, work-based, all these things that keep us from being natural. And that also keeps us depressed. That also keeps us sad. And that also keeps us not thinking about natural life. They use the political divide and the opinion. You know, you have an opinion because you're smart. No, you have an opinion because somebody gave it to you. Because deep down inside, if you were to stop and think about something, the first thing you're going to come back to is always that kindness of your natural being. But sometimes we have to look at the harshness of our natural being, the way things really are. The fact that we made all these homes and we never coexisted with this planet, and as we went along, we made it worse and worse and worse. And then when we found a certain truth, we didn't live that truth. We just went back to accepting the lie and saying, well, that's why I accept the lie, because I have to have gas for my car. I have to have the car to get to work. You know, I have to do the job that, making aluminum or making the plastic or doing whatever, these unnatural jobs to just completely deface and rape this planet. So I, as a man, can be a man and build cities and build jet engines and do all these great things that man can do. Well, nothing that we have done is going to save this planet. And nothing we can do is going to stop what's coming. And nothing any of you have an opinion on or can even say changes the fact that we have lost our way with nature and natural law. We have indeed, with our own consciousness, with our own wanting to be kind and accepting of others, we have destroyed our own life. Because we didn't even want to stop and teach life to our children. We didn't want to stop and realize, hey, this is life. We vaccinate our kids when actually the diseases and stuff that most of these vaccines for, everybody's worried about the measles or polio might come back, or the black plague. Those are all caused by unnatural living. People getting in cities and drinking their own shit water, not paying attention to GMO foods or whatever we're doing. It was these things are caused by that. And then that's what wiped out whole millions and millions and millions of people. Germs and those diseases were not natural. They're basically man-made. I mean, they're done in kind of a natural environment, so to speak, but they're man-made in the fact that we caused them to happen. We created sickness through unnatural living. And that's what we've done with our consciousness. That's what we've done with our brother and our sister. And God, y'all, that's what we've done with our very own mother. I love Mother Earth for a lot of reasons, and that's personal. But I love her most of all because she gives me life. And she gives my children life. And my grandchild and my grandchildren that I hold in my lap. And I see other people, and it's all our life comes from a natural being, from a natural way of coexisting with it. And we've destroyed it. And not only have we destroyed it, we can't fix it. It's not going to change. And we have broken natural law, and we have to pay for breaking these laws. If you break man's law, you go to prison, or you may even get the death penalty. If you break God's law, you burn in hell forever. So there is a punishment due on breaking natural law. And that is not that the mother will come and and shake us off. It's the fact that we have ended our own existence on this planet because we couldn't even coexist with the planet. There is no more water. There is no more good food. We're not going to be able to take care of 8 billion people very much longer. So a lot of the things, there you go too. A lot of man's manipulation, the 1% manipulating all of our minds, they know this. They know this. They have the scientists. They have the history to prove everything that I'm saying is true. That we have dug ourselves into a hole by being the civilized, intelligent man, and it's all for loss. But they see a way of also eradicating populations by our own hands. Thus, I think that's has a lot to do with going against the natural instinct of man-woman procreation and allowing men and getting men in a thought process and women in a thought process where they won't procreate. And even when they make the mistake of invoking life, they made it acceptable to end that life. So we in turn actually stop spreading our species strongly into future generations. We also kill what we have. We use war. We use medicine. We use bigotry, racism, and hatred to also kill each other. When all along, those are just unnatural things. Those are man's intelligence thoughts. Those are man's intelligence way of being. And man makes laws to make you accept it. So now you think it's right because it's law. Well, I think even as with me, I love to think. I always tell y'all, think, and think about that and think about this. But sometimes we can even be unbalanced in our thinking. Sometimes we can overthink. I think that we really, I believe really, we need to get back to our natural law way of thinking. And the first part of natural law is only the strongest survive. The rest of that is things you have to have water to drink to be healthy. Healthy bodies with mankind, with our species, human being, a healthy body does have healthy thinking. Fear keeps you from thinking. So they keep you in a state of unhealthiness. They keep you in a state of fear. And you're not able to go to your natural self and even talk to your tribe or your brother or your sister or even your best friend, lover, soulmate and say certain things because you're worrying about either offending them or seeming judgmental on one level of human thinking, yet knowing that without the natural part of our being and coexisting not only with the planet but with each other, like I said, like the tree and the rock, and just becoming something more beautiful in a combination, that we just lost it on that. We can't think like that anymore. So so I'm not judging you, and I'm not saying what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm saying that all of this goes against natural law, and now we've gotten into a situation and a position that we can't get out of. It's unchanging. And you take the natural cycles of Earth where we could have got through this and our species could have carried on. I really don't feel, I don't know, nobody knows, but I don't feel like we're going to make it beyond that. And to get to this point and be the weakest that our so-called civilized and intelligent species is. We're the smartest thing on this planet. Some of us even think we're the only thing in this universe. Well, that's a natural thought process, and look where it's gotten us. And now the good news on this is you were born, and you were going to live, and you were going to die. And a lot of us go back to the thinking about the birth part and where I came from, and you spend a lot of energy like, who am I from my birth or where I came from? And a lot of you focus on death and fear it and don't want it and are scared of it. That takes away our focus from living. So I'm going to give you a natural thought process before I get off here. And so you don't feel all bad about what I said and get depressed about it. Life was meant to live, whether it was 1 second of life or 100 years of life. You see, it's how you live that life, that all natural life and man's even place in this planet and where our consciousness should be used to tickle life and to nurture life and to make it even better. We focus on all the things that are anti-life. And we get lost in that. And we need to focus on them. We need to pay attention to them so we can live better moments. We can live a fuller life. But you're born, you live, and you die. And that was life anyway. So whatever's coming is a part of that natural life cycle. So You've already been born and you're in the part of living right now. I would love to see you concentrate and focus all your ability and attention on living and living as close to natural as you can, because the system around us can't be changed. That's a harsh reality I've had to face. All the things are just getting worse and worse, and there's no way of fixing it. But it never should have been made. But that also means that I'm not going to worry about fixing it either. And I've been trying to fix something that really ain't broken. It was created, but it wasn't supposed to be. And so now I'm going to focus more on life. I'm going to focus on more what makes me feel the love in my heart, the things that make me feel good. And they're all natural things, and I appreciate that about myself. And I'm not trying to say that any of you are unnatural beings. I think the fact is that I think you lost your ability to define what is natural. That's my point. So I love you just as much, maybe even more, and I'll always understand you. But I'm not going to accept anything anymore. I'm not going to pat you on the back because you're destroying your own natural life. I'm not going to sit there and say that, yes, somebody has a right to be that way when rights have nothing to do with natural law. I mean, what's the antelope's what's their right to life when the lioness is taking them down? And why does the lioness bring home the food and the lion only has to worry about fighting and procreating? Huh? What if feminism got into the lioness group right there, and they no longer fed the male? Then the male wouldn't procreate. The male would die and starve, and then they wouldn't be able to procreate. We need to see that naturally. We all need each other, and we all have a different place. But we also are very much the same physically. We can't change our DNA and how we were born, but as our conscious man, if we keep our thoughts a little more natural, we can still be everything we wanted to be, as long as it's not destroying another life or another ecosystem. Because mankind is about as needed on this planet as the plague that he is. But it was only because we lost our way, y'all. It's only because we took the natural thought process out of our life. And we can't do that. And that's the other thing. You can't deny natural law because man's law said it's all right. Or even social consciousness and acceptance says it's right. But to also say it's wrong don't mean you have to be critical of somebody. We don't have to hurt each other. And like I said, it's time to live. Maybe we should just shut up about what's going on and just concentrate all that effort and energy into just living together and just loving each other and realizing, hey, we might have messed up, but we can still go out of this, off this bird, happy, brilliant, loving souls. And I believe that with all my heart, and I'm going to try to live it. And I'm also at a point, this is personal for all y'all that I love, and we call ourselves tribe and brothers and sisters. I've come to an awareness in myself that I need to focus on my priorities, and I have my priorities mixed up. They're unnatural. My priorities are unnatural. For me to be a complete, whole, and even happy man, I need to pay attention more to the things that bring that to me. And that is the life that I invoked into this world, my children, my grandchildren, and the things that keep me balanced, which is my Karen Sue. And I'm going to be focusing more of my time and all my attention to that aspect of life and to these other humans that I not only want to coexist with, I just think are the most amazing people I've ever seen, and I just love them. And I don't mean I'm going to, just disappear or something. I'm not going to give one of them ultimatum speeches, but I just wanted you to know that from now on, if you think I'm being critical or you think I'm being judgmental on you, or if you think I hate you, you're dead wrong. But if I think you're unnatural and at what level of that I think, well, that's just the truth. I'm not a bigot. I just know what's going on, and I see things that I didn't make any of this. Us mankind, this is part of our intelligence and creative ability and consciousness that we don't even control. And but we fought it, and we raped the planet, and we destroyed our food source and our water. We destroyed our life source. It's gone, and we can't take that back. But we can live, and we can live free, and we can be free. And when death does come to us all, we can die living, but we can know that we did it in a way that was fit according to the universe and the creator himself that created all of us. Be you. but be as natural as you can. Do what you want, but think about if it's human or if it's mankind, if it's your brain or your body or your instincts, and still love everybody, but know that nothing is right if it's not natural, and nothing is right or wrong anyway. That's a good part of natural law. Nature don't care if something's right or wrong. You don't see nothing right in a tornado, but the new growth on the after a tornado tears out of land, that's beautiful. I mean, that's life. So life will always find a way to live, and we should always seek a way to live that life in coexistence with each other and the planet that uh, those before us came up with ways of destroying and not being sustainable. So think about that, y'all. Please don't take me as judgmental, and know I mean this the best I can. I love y'all to death, and I just want you to be free and happy. And I see that. I see that can happen with you now. Not by accepting you and coddling you, but by showing the truth and letting you know that you're not hated for the situation that we're in now and how we got here. We lost our way, but we can find each other and we can find ourselves. So that's some good news right there, and I like that. I like that. That in the face of utter destruction, we can find hope and life and promise, and I like that. I like that a lot. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get me something to eat, and just wanted to get this off my mind and let y'all know that it's been rough on me, but I'm seeing so many things in the way I should have done for myself, and as the kind of brother I am, I want to spread that out a little bit and let you know. So and I kind of miss y'all. So peace. I love you, and don't live in fear.